Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video in my CPR series. Today we are hitting on persistency. Okay, we done did purpose, commitment, consistent. Now we're going to learn the ins and outs to what persistency is and how to develop persistency within our own selves and our goals. Let's get into it. Persistency is the ability to keep going despite any challenges that may occur, whether that be emotional, mental, or physical challenges. Persistency asks us to identify either a goal or more defined goal where we are experiencing any sort of challenges in. Now, the reason why it can be either or is because sometimes we experience challenges in regards to the ultimate goal, It's just like the whole thing is experiencing some kind of challenge in that area. Sometimes it's just in regards to the step that we are at. So you want to think, is this challenge in regards to my entire goal as a whole, or is it in relation to the particular step that I'm at? It can be either or though. Once we have identified the goal that we're having the challenge within, or a more defined goal, right? We're going to then identify what kind of challenge exactly we are experiencing. Like I mentioned before, there's emotional challenges, there's mental challenges, and there's also physical challenges. Emotional challenges can look like just experiencing a lack of motivation, a lack of inspiration, or fear or doubt. Mental challenges can look like just experiencing mental fog or having scattered thoughts in regards to your goal, or just negative thoughts towards your goals as well as mental exhaustion. That's one way that mental challenges can show up too. Sometimes your brain is just tired. And then the ways that physical challenges can appear is just through a lack of resources, or maybe a lack of support in the environment that you're in. It can also just look like physical impairment, something in your physical body is literally like stopping you from doing this thing. Wait, it's not stopping you. It's trying to. But no, it's not necessarily that a physical impairment would stop you, but it does show up as a challenge. Now, some physical impairments might actually stop you. I'm not talking about those physical impairments. I mean the physical impairments that may just kind of be challenging for you to overcome. Just for example, you're wanting to change your diet and your body is responding in some negative way, and it's coming across to you as a challenge. That's one way that can look like. And then one other physical challenge or example of a physical challenge is dead investments, which is just where like you invested, whether most of the times your money, but like you invested anything physical into something and it's not paying off. It's not going the way you had hoped. You put your money into this thing in order to gain something from it, you know what I'm saying? But the investment may just not be growing, and that can appear and be one of the ways that a physical challenge appears. All right, now once we have identified the exact challenge or the exact type of challenge that we are experiencing, either within our goal or more defined goal, persistency asks us to really explore and describe the ways that this challenge shows up and appears in our life. Like what does it look like, and what thoughts and feelings show up in the midst of this challenge, like knees deep into it. What's showing up? What is surfacing exactly? We want to express that. We want to really bring our attention into that so that we can be very clear on exactly what's taking place here. Now, once we have explained this challenge and we kind of know the ins and outs of what's going on here, we also want to understand how the challenge impacts us and just our lives overall. Now, I know these two questions can sound the same, but they are asking two completely different things. The first question asks, what's going on in the midst of this challenge? What is taking place in the middle of it? When we're talking about the way it impacts us and it impacts our life, we want to draw our attention more into the conclusions that we may draw from this experience, or the conclusions we may have already drawn, you know what I'm saying? Just depending on when someone is entering this section with their challenge, in some case scenarios, honestly, describing the impact might not even be necessary. If it hasn't gotten that far, it might not be necessary, if I'm being completely honest. However, in this part, persistency asks us, how does this impact us? How does this challenge impact me? Does it make me look at my future and think differently about things? Does it make me not want to try anymore? How does it truly impact you in your life? We ask this in order to really just better understand the effects of the challenge that has taken place. Now, at this point, we have explored truly the ins and the outs of this challenge, okay? We know what arises in the midst of it. We know the lingering effects and the way it impacts us. And now it's time to find some solutions. And so when it comes to the challenges that we are experiencing within our journey to success, within our goals, it is going to be one of two things that are going to mold the course of action we take in order to overcome this challenge. So persistency asks you, does this challenge require, moving forward, does this challenge require a change, or does it require nurturing? Now, I remember when I was typing up this section and brainstorming and all those things, and initially I was going down this course where I was supplying an exact solution. And I quickly found out, when it comes to challenges that we are experiencing within our goals, there's no way, even if I knew exactly what you were experiencing, I could not give you a solution. And so this part of persistency does require a bit of discernment, one's own discernment. Now, if the challenge requires change, you're going to want to ask yourself, what can I do right now in order to begin changing my circumstances, changing my mindset, changing my emotional state? Because that is changeable as well. Sometimes emotions seem like something that is out of our control in a way. However, a lot of the time, especially when we're just talking about our goals, there are ways that we can go about uplifting ourselves and our emotions. And so is there just something that needs changing? Do you need to change up your environment? Whatever you need to do. Is there something that needs changing? You want to ask yourself that. If in order to overcome this challenge, there is a need for nurturing, you're going to want to ask yourself, what do I need right now to continue progressing in my goals? Do I need to take a break? Sometimes that's the answer. Truth be told. Don't let a break become a lump on a log, but I gotta take a break. I just took me a break last week. Okay, I took a whole week break. I say, week vacation. Because before last week, I just was going and going and going and going. Girl, I don't know why I was doing that. But I took me a whole week off and now I'm back. Do you need a break? Do you need some water? Do you need movement? You need to move some shit. Do you need to meditate? Do you need to journal and just kind of tap into your purpose, tap into the things that light you up? Do you need to reflect? What is it giving? And from there, It is necessary for one to use their own discernment and truly just find that solution. I created this to be set up in a way where you guys, we all can just come to our own solution. And I feel like even in that, we're able to just trust ourselves a little more. You know, we ask ourselves these questions and we can find the answers as long as we're asking them. Persistency says, despite the fear, I persevere. I hope you guys enjoyed this video so much. I love you guys so much. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave it down below. Please and thank you. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, until next time.